I know the feeling when you scroll through a sea of glossy images, read a handful of hype-filled bullet points, and think, this laptop is going to be my gateway to smooth 1080p gaming and a solid workflow. Then you finally click buy, only to discover that the screen looks washed out under sunlight, the fans spin up louder than a kitchen blender, and the battery dies before you finish a single match. That disappointment is all too common, especially in the crowded gaming laptop market where every manufacturer promises the best performance without telling you what that really means day to day. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to break down the ASUS ROG Strix G15, 2020, so you can see whether it lives up to the hype or if you'd be better off putting that money toward a desktop component or a different laptop altogether. First off, let's talk about who this machine is actually built for. The Strix G15 targets gamers who want a portable device that can handle most AAA titles at 1080p with respectable frame rates, but it also markets itself to creators who need a decent amount of RAM and storage for video editing or 3D work on the go. If you're a casual gamer who mostly plays indie titles, or a professional who relies on heavyweight software like Adobe Premiere at 4K, this laptop sits in a sweet spot for you, but only if you understand its compromises. The 15.6-inch 144Hz IPS panel does deliver crisp visuals and smoother motion compared to a stock 60Hz screen, but the panel's peak brightness hovers around 250 nits, meaning you'll still struggle on bright indoor lighting or outdoor cafes. That's something a lot of reviewers miss. The gaming grade label often hides the fact that the display is optimized for fast motion, not for color-critical work or high ambient light environments. Now, performance. The heart of the Strix G15 is the 10th Gen Intel Core i7-10750H paired with an RTX 20606GB. On paper, you're looking at 6 cores, 12 threads, and a GPU that still holds its own in most current titles when you dial settings down to medium-high. In practice, the laptop's ROG Intelligent Cooling System, which uses a combination of dual fans and a sizable heatsink, keeps the CPU temperatures in the 80-90°C range under sustained load, but you'll hear the fans ramp up aggressively after just a few minutes of intense gameplay. If you're the type who streams while you play, you'll notice a slight dip in frame rates once the fans hit their max speed, although the dip is usually within a single digit and not enough to kill a competitive match. The upside here is the inclusion of Thermal Grizzly liquid metal thermal paste, which ASUS claims improves heat transfer. In my bench tests it shaved off about 5°C compared to laptops that use standard thermal pads, translating to marginally higher boost clocks before throttling kicks in. That's a practical benefit if you frequently push the system beyond the 30-minute burst window most gaming laptops are designed for. Storage and memory are where the Strix G15 feels surprisingly generous. The 16GB DDR4 2933 runs at a comfortable speed for both gaming and multitasking, and the 512GB PCIe NVMe SSD loads games in under 15 seconds on average, which is a huge improvement over older SATA drives. However, the SSD size can become a bottleneck fast. Modern games like Cyberpunk 2077 or Red Dead Redemption 2 can each take up 100GB or more, and you'll quickly find yourself juggling install locations or resorting to an external USB-C drive if you want to keep the internal drive from filling up. The good news is the laptop has an extra M.2 slot, but accessing it requires opening the bottom panel, something you'll probably avoid after the warranty period starts. Battery life is another hidden trade-off. With the RTX 2060 drawing roughly 100W under load, you're looking at about 23 hours of continuous gaming before the charger begs for attention. In a real-world scenario, that translates to 1 or 2 short sessions on the couch before you need to plug in. If you're planning to use the machine for work tasks like coding, browsing, or light photo editing, the battery stretches to around 6 hours, which is decent for a 15-inch laptop but still not comparable to Ultrabooks that boast 10-hour claims. The key takeaway is, this isn't a laptop you'll take to a coffee shop expecting to game for hours. It's more of a take to class, take to bed, plug in when you're done device. Audio and keyboard are small details that can make or break the day-to-day experience. ASUS equipped the Strix G15 with a perky RGB backlight, which looks great in low-light rooms and lets you quickly locate the WASD keys during a fast-paced shooter. The keyboard travel is a bit on the shallow side, around 1.2 mm, which feels more like a laptop keyboard than a mechanical one, but the tactile feedback is still satisfying for most gamers. The speakers, however, are modest. They pump out enough sound for casual listening, yet the lack of bass makes explosions feel muted. For a full immersion you'll want headphones, which most gamers already own, so this isn't a deal breaker, but